Welcome to the Friends in Film podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to give you insights into succeeding in the film industry that you will not hear about anywhere. Not in film school, not online, not even from the people on film sets. I teach you the art of building a career in a connection-based business. You've been through the awareness phase, you've been through the fascination phase, maybe you went to film school, but now it's time for the implementation phase, and that's what this is all about. Having an extraordinary successful career in the professional film industry. Today we're going to talk about goal achievement and how you can set a goal, and having this goal that you set that is specific, exactly what you want to do and within a time frame, can be what propels you towards that goal, can be what makes you actually successful in getting to the goal. And I also want to talk to you about how actually achieving that goal, although of course that is the outcome that we're going after, it is the process along the way to achieve that goal is what gives you all of the good stuff. And it is through living that process and improving yourself, improving your skills, making those connections, being on set and learning. It is the process that makes you able to achieve that goal. See, if we hold the goal as something that we are trying to get towards, or that we hope is someday going to happen, something that I'm working on being a director, I'd like to someday be a writer, I'd like to be an actor someday. And I always ask people on the film set, what are you here for? What are you using your life for? And they're always a little bit confused by the question, but they like the question. And they'll respond well, I'm here to learn. I'm a production assistant right now. And then I ask them, well, what do you want to do? What are you here for? And then they usually respond well, I'd love to someday be a director, or, maybe I'd like to be a writer. I write. I'd love to be an actor. But they're almost sheepish when they say it. They don't really want to admit it because they don't want to be assuming, or they don't want to be ridiculous. And I always tell them, hey, if that is what you want to do, then you need to own it. You need to embody it. You need to be that now. Don't be embarrassed about it. That's where you're going. That's why you're here. So embody it and have that energy of it. And know that that is what you're using your life for. You are here to learn how to become a director, a producer, a DP, an actor. That's why you're here. And you should feel proud of the fact that you are here on set working when there are millions of people that would love to have that job that you have, as well as the job that I have today on the film set. If you're going to be on the film set, then you might as well be using that opportunity to create many more opportunities, because it is definitely a privilege to be there on set, and it is an opportunity that we have to be there and see all of these details come together and watch other successful directors, other successful writers, DPs, and actors do their thing on set and learn from them. Kind of like a cat at the edge of a room, watching and observing. You can learn so much. You can pick up so much, but the pressure's not on you yet. So therefore, you can really learn so much. It's a very high learning environment that you can be in, being on these sets. So I'm going to talk about goal achievement today, and I'm going to use some examples from my own career. So to show you the trajectory that I had with my own career, and the reason why I had such a straight arrow trajectory for my career was I knew that I was going to work for National Geographic. I knew that I was going to get into commercials. I knew that I was going to make at least $200,000, $300,000 a year in the film industry. I knew I could get these jobs that paid $1,000, then $2,000 a day, and then $3,000 a day. I knew it. And how did I know it? Simply because I had that goal, and I took that goal seriously for myself, and I lived into it. I knew that I was going to use every day to get to that goal, to build the skills for that goal, to become and to have that energy of somebody that is worth $2,000 a day, and then $3,000 a day, and then to work on the biggest projects that there is in the film industry, to work with the biggest directors. You don't get hired to work with a director like Damien Chazelle if you don't have the energy to be a department head and work with Damien Chazelle. You have to be the person where the producer, the AD, everybody would say, oh yeah, let's get Janet on this. Damien will love her. Otherwise, if you don't embody that energy, nobody is even going to think about you. It's not like they're going to say no, they're just not even going to consider you. So the energy, the how you see yourself, a lot of this boils down to, and you've heard me say this many times, how you think to yourself, about yourself, how you think to yourself when you think to yourself, which is all the time. But being conscious of the way that you are thinking about yourself and the possibilities that you are here to create in the film industry, what you are using your life for. So one thing I want to tell you is there's a lot of growth, a lot of my own personal growth that has happened along the way to get to where I'm at today. I've set a lot of goals that were increasingly big and exciting. And I've done a lot of work into becoming the person that can achieve that level of success that I set out to do. Like, it didn't just happen. It happened because of the person that I was constantly pushing myself to become. The way I was thinking about myself and the way that I was showing up out there to be able to be given this responsibility on set. So I talk to lots of people on set all the time. And I also talk to a lot of people that are starting out in the business or just want to transition from the job that they have today into the industry. And many people have been stuck for years. Like, they have been trying for a very long time. And now they've taken a lot of actions out there, but most of the actions that they're taking is through not really believing that it's going to happen. So then they prove themselves true. And I get that it can seem like it's difficult to believe that you can get to these levels that you set for yourself. And I want to encourage you to actually set very concrete goals for the film industry. Like director, $100,000 working in feature films. Like actor, working in feature films, making at least $100,000 a year within a year. Or making $1 million a year as an actor within 5 years. Like, these are big goals. You can even call them impossible goals. But the purpose of the goal is not to necessarily achieve the goal, which you will. The purpose of the goal is who you decide that you're going to be in your pursuit of the goal. It's the pursuit of the goal is where you become amazing. It's not just thinking about the goal, it's actually the pursuit of it. And I remember that energy when I first started in Los Angeles. And that energy in my first year where there was a lot of fear mixed in there. And I remember so much of that first year, that energy, that naivete, that like having that belief that I wanted to work for National Geographic, and that's what I was in Los Angeles for. So I'm there to learn. I'm there to build skills. I'm there to meet people. And there's so much energy in learning and building those skills so that I could get to my National Geographic goal. And there was so much energy towards learning skills, getting access to the equipment, paying attention to how these shoots were going and how you do the lighting and the process of filmmaking and what they're doing in production. Just learning all these details that go into production that if you did not have a big goal of working for National Geographic, you would just look at it like, oh, I'm on a shoot. What do they want me to do? You would not be so curious about all of the details of how that shoot was coming together. So the people that I was working with could see that I was taking this so seriously and I wanted to know all these things, which was so rare. Most people are just not thinking in this way. So it not only allowed me to get my name spread out all over the place and get hired by so many people, and also to be given so much more responsibility on these shoots, because obviously I could take that responsibility. So it was the pursuit of the goal that spurred my brain into how I was going to show up on these sets, how I was going to behave. And this is my biggest thing that I want to convey to you guys, is this having this big goal, and then it's no kidding what you are doing and what you are using your life for, it informs you of your behavior. So if your goal, no kidding, is something like National Geographic documentaries, $100,000 a year, and known by every single person in that space, then I can't be like okay with, okay, well, in the next 6 months, I'm just going to keep my job and take that class. That would be ridiculous. Like, that's what I see most people looking at their career in the film industry as being so hard, and it's something that they're just going to kind of keep plugging away at because they've tried and it didn't really work out yet for them. And then they start listening to what everybody's saying out there, like, oh, there's not enough work. It's really hard to get in. There's a lot of competition. And then they just say, well, I better keep my job then and just try to keep plugging away at this. And that is the exact opposite of the kind of energy and behavior and the way of thinking that you need if you're ever going to create your career in the film industry. Like, it has to be like, I want to become a director making $100,000 in feature films for Netflix. Without apology, with complete confidence, that is what I am doing with my life. That's it. And then if your behaviors today are not aligned with that, then you've got to change. You got to tell yourself, wake up time. What am I using my life for? To go to the warehouse to work, to go to Amazon to work, to do a job that is not my future and I just keep going there and doing it and dreaming about the film industry? If you believe in your goal, you write it down, you look at it every day, and you look at your behavior for that day. Am I actually doing what I need to be doing, thinking in the way that I need to be thinking, and feeling in the way that I need to be feeling to get to that goal? No kidding, within the time that you wrote down. And I suggest that it be a year, because there's nothing worse for you than to have a big goal, like, oh, I'd love to someday be a director, but then really do nothing serious towards it. And the entire time you feel sad and you feel a lot of disbelief and you make yourself weaker every single day because you're nowhere near that big goal. Yet that's what you want. That's your dream. So you're using your dream in a way against you by telling yourself that I'm nowhere near it, so I probably can't do it. And therefore, I'm probably not going to make it. You use this dream that you love so much against you. So instead, what you must do is you must believe in your dream, like not like it's a faraway dream, but something that you are committing to, that you are deciding how you are going to show up in order to accomplish that goal. Like, no kidding. It doesn't matter the time frame. It doesn't matter the city that you live. It doesn't matter the obstacles that you have to overcome. That is your goal. That is your time frame, and it's specific. Director, $100,000, Netflix films within a year. And it's not about the achievement of that goal. That's not why you're setting the goal. You're setting the goal to give yourself the process to get to that goal, to be able to ask so much more of yourself than you have been, to start to ask your brain, okay, what do I need to do to be able to be a director that has the skills and connections and ability to make $100,000 in the film industry? People pay me that money, that seek me out for this work. What production companies do I need to know and be working for right now? What kind of skills do I need to have? What kind of team do I need to have? What DP, what writers, what producers? What do I need to do to be able to get on these sets, to meet these people, and to start watching the directors, and to start learning from the executive producers and the directors and the DPs? How can I start speaking this language? If your goal is real, then you're going to now ask yourself different questions than if your goal is a dream to you. And the great thing about the goal is it's something that is fun. It's exciting. It's, in a way, it's like delicious. And what you want to do is you want to make this goal not something that you've got to hustle hard towards and make yourself do and figure it out. No, how you want to hold this goal is like, I'm excited about that. This is what I want to learn. This is like giving me my direction and who I need to meet and what I want to learn. This is giving my life purpose. So the creation of the goal and the attainment of the goal needs to be thought of as being something that is just wonderful. Like, not that it's all going to feel like so great and flowers and daisies, but it's wonderful in that you're doing something really important with your life. And you expect there to be times where you're confused, you don't know what to do, you might feel lost, and other times where you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was such an amazing day on set, and I learned so much, and I'm proud of myself. So it's the mixture of all the emotions and being proud of yourself that you are actually doing what most people would not do, which is taking a goal and every day taking the actual actions, real actions in the world to keep moving yourself forward towards that goal. And it cannot be lame actions. It has to be real, impactful actions. Like an example of this would be like, oh, I'm going to go home and work on my screenplay. That's not how you're going to get to your goal of $100,000 of value that you're making in the film industry as a writer of feature films within a year. Now, the only reason why you would not set a goal like that is because you're scared. What if you fail? But you can't fail. Remember, the wonderful thing about setting the goal is the process of achievement of this goal. It's a process of figuring out how you need to be thinking and feeling and taking action out there. It's not the actual achievement of the goal. It's the process of who you become as you go after this goal. This is it. For me, this was 100% the deal. Because National Geographic was my image in my mind. Traveling the world, flying around in helicopters, working for National Geographic, having the most amazing life. That was my dream. Now, you might have images of yourself DPing, directing, acting on the big screen. The dream, you got that image, probably full color in your mind. Okay, that is perfect. That is exactly what you need to have. And then it becomes being proud of yourself for having a goal like that. Asking yourself, okay, this goal, it is done. I am doing this goal. So what did I do? Brain, what did I do? Self. Having that example of the National Geographic life that I wanted to have and the National Geographic person that I wanted to become, that informed me of all my actions. That made me proud of my actions, that I was talking to people on the phone and getting out there and finding shoots and going and thinking out of the box in the way that I could gain experience and learn, memorize the equipment catalogs. Having that goal of National Geographic and the person that I would be a National Geographic filmmaker, that informed me of what I needed to be doing there in Los Angeles. I needed to work with production companies. I needed to build the skills. I needed to be on lots of sets. I needed to learn my stuff. And I needed to do it at the level of National Geographic. So it made it so much easier for me in my mind. I couldn't be like, oh, National Geographic goal, I think I'll work in a restaurant for 6 months and see what happens. Or I'll just see what I can do because rent is really expensive in Los Angeles. I had to be using every single day to go towards my goal. So belief in the goal where you know it, you don't question it. It is done in your mind. This is happening. That is so important. And the process of that goal is actually so satisfying because it's sort of like anticipation of Christmas morning, where you know that it's coming, you're going to have presents. The anticipation of the actual Christmas morning was even better than the actual Christmas morning. And that's the way that it is to have a big goal like this. And to think about it like, oh, the anticipation of getting on the sets and meeting these people. Like, it can be super exciting because you have the goal and then you keep making these milestones, like when you get your first paycheck or when you meet somebody in the industry that just called you a second time, or when you got the opportunity to be a camera operator, or where you were able to work on a certain shoot where you got a lot of responsibility and you learned so much. Each of these are like little triumphs for yourself. And the anticipation of living that, and there's so much more to come, that is so exciting. Like, you don't know the future, but you know that it's going to be good. So one of the things I want to encourage you all to do is to celebrate your progress. To look at the goal that you have and not look at it like, oh, I'm so far away, but look at what you've already done so far to get towards that goal. Like, you've probably come a really long ways from the first time that you thought of that goal, like, oh, I'd like to be an actor. You've probably taken the classes, you've probably taken the study, you've probably been in some plays, you've had to overcome some things. So it's very important that you look at your progress to date and give yourself credit for that. There's no downside to telling yourself, hey, you're awesome. You've come a long way. You've done some hard things already. And that's how you know that you can do many more hard things. Look what you've already accomplished and what you've overcome. You don't have to look at like, oh, I've taken some missteps and now I'm further behind. Don't look at it like that. Make everything in your past be working for you. So it's all part of your story. Like, oh yeah, I've gone through some hard times, but I've also had some triumphs in there. Because all that exists from your past is your thoughts about it anyway. So you might as well tell yourself a story of triumph, because that's what's going to give you the strength then to go forward towards your goals. I bet that if you look at where you are today, you have a lot to be proud about. Like 5 years ago, when you look at where you are today, you're like, holy crap. When you really look at that, you have done a lot. You've learned a lot. Back then, if you thought about where you are today, you'd be like, oh, wow, I hope I can get there. And now you're there. And you want to look at who have you become just by setting the goal, just by deciding that you want to become a filmmaker, that deciding that you want to be an actor. Like, you did not have to make that decision. You did not have to go to film school. You did not have to study theater. You didn't have to do all of the things that you have done to get to your goal. So who you have become just by having set that goal and all of your hard work and activity that you have done up until now, that's something to be very proud about. And that's a great thing about having a goal. You set a new possibility for your life, and that truly can alter you. It can alter your thought patterns, your feeling patterns, as well as your actions. Setting a new possibility for your life changes you. If you look at where you are today from the past, your goal changed you. And now you're up for even bigger, more momentum going towards that goal even faster. And I think a second thing that's really important to do with goal attainment is to evaluate, well, where are some of the things I did that went wrong that I would not do again? What were some unexpected things that I wouldn't probably spend time on doing again? But I did learn from, and now I can go forward with a new understanding. Like, what were some of the challenges that you can learn from, that you can now put in your toolbox, that you can take with you? That is new knowledge that you have that you don't have to try to figure it out. It's just there because of the experiences that you've had. How you are looking at your goal is not like, oh my gosh, I have to hustle really hard and overcome all the obstacles and just, blaze my trail. Then I think you're making it hard on yourself because you're looking at it as being something that you've got to push and struggle, and it can be painful. And I remember when I was starting that first year, because there was so much fear inside myself with this goal, that I was having this struggle kind of hustle energy. And I think that things would happen a lot more peacefully for me if instead I was employing what I'm talking about with you right now. Having this deep knowingness that this is what I'm creating with my life. This is what I'm doing with my life. And of course, I'm going to have these conversations and meet these people and learn these skills. Of course, this is all part of my journey, and I'm excited about it. While feeling excited and feeling fear, well, that's how you know that you're doing something. Like, you are actually taking this seriously. You wouldn't feel excited and fearful if you're like, oh, well, tomorrow I'm just going to get up and go to my job again and hope that somehow something's going to land in my lap. You wouldn't be feeling any of these emotions because you're not asking much from yourself. But if you're thinking about it like, oh, I've got to figure out all these little details that get me to where I want to be, and I'm so excited, I'm also a little bit like afraid of it because I haven't done it before, but that's okay. I know that I'm doing something that's going to be good. Like, hard, a little bit hard is good. One thing I want to end this episode with is be proud of your goal and believe your goal 100%. Don't be afraid to say it to everybody. And stand steady and stand strong when you say your goal. Like when people ask me, oh, what do you want to do in the film industry? I want to work for National Geographic. I want to travel the world working for National Geographic. Now, did not matter that I was not doing that at the moment when I was talking to these people. And I do not care if they roll their eyes. They're not working for National Geographic. I'm the one that's going to be working for National Geographic. So the goal needs to inspire you. It doesn't need to be something that other people think is achievable. That's not their life. This is your life. And having a big goal like that will inspire a lot of people. It will also make people doubt you as well, but who cares? The goal is not made to make other people happy. The goal is made to give you direction in your life. But you have to believe in your goal, and you have to take appropriate action towards your goal. And if you do that, then you will be attaining your goal, and you will be loving the process of attaining your goal. What you don't want to do is use your goal against you and beat yourself up that you're nowhere near close to your goal. That will take you the opposite direction of your goal. The main thing I'm teaching everybody all the time is how you are thinking to yourself about the attainment of the life that you want. That is the most important thing. How you are thinking to yourself, the thoughts you have, the feelings you have, the actions that you take, who you become is the most important thing. That is why we set the goal. And the goal allows us then to give our brains direction to decide, how do I need to be thinking? How do I need to be feeling? And how do I need to be showing up out there to attain this goal, which is so worth it to me. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you today. So make sure you set goals for yourself, and they are based on what you want. Understand that it's not the attainment of the goal that we're after, but who you become in the pursuit of the goal. All right, everybody, have a great day. Talk to you guys later. If you are ready to work in the film industry and you want to now take your career to that next level, go to friendsinfilm.com/join and you can sign up for our mini course. You can learn our implementation system, and then you can even take it all the way by doing our flagship program, the Into the Industry program. It all starts with friendsinfilm.com/join. See you there.